cursive.
Yeah, it's sloppy cursive.
It's better than mine.
Oh.
I didn't bring my notebook. I forgot it.
That's because boys have bad handwriting.
Yes.
I don't.
That's true. Have you ever seen Adam's handwriting?
No, I can't read anything he says. Right.
Actually, when he tries, he writes really good.
Yeah, my dad
Like
prints.
if you look at it, you're like, whoa, what lady wrote this? And you're like, oh, wait.
Lady Adam.
Welcome to Street Smart Christian. I'm your host, Adam, with my co-host, Meredith. We have a special guest today, all the way down from the land south.
Story. The end.
From Tijuana, Mexico.
I'm not from Tijuana.
Here's Kevin. No, you're the co-host. This is Street Smart Christian. I'm Adam. This is my co-host, Meredith. We have a friend from a special land down south, Tijuana, Mexico. Kevin Lionel Mestis.
Okay. My name is Jeff.
We just got canceled for sure because nobody knows that you have any Spanish heritage in you because you're whiter than Meredith and I.
Right now, because of the lights.
You were going to correct your middle name, though, weren't you, just now?
It's Lionel.
He gets mad because I call him Lionel.
Lemon yellow?
Lionel.
But I ain't.
Lemon yellow?
I'm not doing that.
Lemon yellow.
So it's Lionel.
Lionel.
My Siri says when your dad calls, de mestis.
It says it like that?
Mestis.
It says it like that?
It's Dave Mestis from Australia.
You changed yours to the Australian
Wait a
accent?
second. That was your Australian accent?
Dave Mestis. Yeah.
Say, okay, look at the lights and say razor blades.
Razor blades.
Sounds like you're saying rise up lights in Australian.
Razor blades.
Oh, okay.
Rise up lights.
Razor blades.
Shrimp on the bobby.
Shrimp on the bobby. Aye.
Rise up lights.
Razor blades.
Sorry,
Kangaroo.
we're derailed. We're back. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Well, Kevin, should we properly introduce our guest? It's the first time we have had 3 microphones.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that this works out. We have our sister in Christ, our sister from another mister,
Yes.
Meredith Mann. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, your Facebook has got, how do you say that?
Meredith Terpstra Man.
Terpstra.
Yes.
Is that what it, because for years I've been trying to make up
That's
what
my
that
maiden
means.
name.
I used to say Meredith Terpesta.
It's Terpstra.
Now I know that now.
Yeah.
But now
It's
it's
Dutch.
So Meredith Mann,
That's Dutch?
Yes.
Nice.
originally from here, Colorado,
Speak Dutch?
right?
Right. No.
And you left us a couple of years ago and you're in Arizona. What's the name of your town?
Benson.
Benson, Arizona.
Am I supposed to look at the TV?
You don't have to look at the camera. We don't ever look at the camera.
You
half
have
the
to,
time.
the whole time you're here, you must stare.
Please don't
right
do
at
that
the
because I
camera.
can see your face and you look like you were scared to death, just like. I don't blink twice. Some people at home are like, blink twice if you're being held there.
You're not supposed
Mr. Will. But you're visiting for the holiday season. Your
Yes.
brother had a baby,
Well, my brother's girlfriend had a baby,
and your sister had a baby.
and my sister had a baby.
Dang, a lot of
3
babies.
weeks apart.
3 weeks apart, 3 weeks early.
So you became an aunt twice within 3 weeks,
I did.
and you're here visiting. You were at church on Sunday. How'd that feel?
It felt really good. I miss everybody.
Tia Meredith over here.
What?
Tia Meredith. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, Tia. Oh.
You're Tia now.
I am, but I'm white.
It still counts.
Okay.
Okay.
Does that get cut out too?
Yeah, this all
Okay.
gets cut out. Yeah.
Oh, good.
No.
I thought-
Are we live?
Yeah. We're not live on anything. It's going to be edited. So, so when I did this with Melanie, was the only other guest we ever had. Kevin doesn't remember because he didn't show up.
You told me not to be here.
And
You guys should have more guests.
so we're gonna ask you. We're just gonna go through your journey because I know there's things that you said you wanted to talk about.
Sure.
So that'll tie into what we're going to talk about through this, and it's just going to kind of go from there. Nothing scripted. If there's anything that we ask you that you don't want to answer or you're not comfortable putting out there, just don't. Or because when me and Melanie were talking, we were just talking, and then I'm editing. I almost have it all the way edited, and then she just had this minor panic attack that she used names and locations.
Oh.
So all 4 of our YouTube followers might have figured it out. So I had to go back through and I had to cut
Snip.
names, stuff like so.
So like she was talking like this, and then all of a sudden, no hands.
Keep in mind, we're not
It was
Joe
good.
Rogan, so we
The
don't have
edits were good. I
Yeah.
watched it.
Okay.
So we're not Joe Rogan. We don't have millions
not.
and billions of followers. So
Right.
chances of anybody listening to this that you might offend, which probably won't do anyways, are slim to none.
Right.
But this
I'm not
could be their
offensive.
breakthrough podcast where everybody's like,
This
man,
could be it.
we really like that one, and so we're gonna.
Have to fly me up every weekend.
And you're.
We'll
I
soon
don't
call you in
understand
virtually.
why.
That would be fun.
I did have a question for you though, because I do know that you shared one time on Facebook, or you tagged some people in one of our podcasts. Mm-hmm. Did they watch it? Have you ever had any friends in Arizona watch it and comment, or are they?
Yes.
They did.
Yeah.
See, that's the feedback that we ask for every week, so we know you're lying when you say you watched the whole thing. Because at the end of every podcast, we have a series of questions, and nobody responds.
You do?
There's rewards.
He has been. He's been doing things like, if you just respond.
Don't, because we're at the beginning.
Oh, don't
Yeah,
let it
so
out.
at the end, you'll know what you could have won.
Yeah, you'll know.
Yeah, because I get bored and then I'm like, okay,
what
too
kind
much.
of feedback do you get? What kind of criticism do we get? Because nobody puts it on there, whether it's they don't want to hurt our feelings or they're just lazy.
Sometimes you guys joke too long.
Yeah, that's Adam.
So-
he doesn't know when to turn it off.
Are you kidding?
I mean, oh, well.
So we actually took notice of that ourselves,
Right.
and we've tried to have more of a structured, but then I don't know. We're still.
I think it's
feeling-
better
we're
when it's
testing
more
the waters.
organic.
So if we get more feedback like that,
Right.
like Brennan, the gentleman that's in the worship team now, listened to it on Monday or Tuesday. I mean, he listened to it on Tuesday, and I said, "Dude, tell me exactly 110% of the truth." And he said, "Well, I really like the fact that it's almost like eavesdropping on your guys' conversation."
Right.
He liked that fact?
Yeah.
Oh.
He really liked the fact that it was like listening, like the fly on the wall aspect
Right.
of listening to our conversation. He didn't like that sometimes it sounds like we're whispering and sometimes there's
Right.
too long of pauses in between conversation or whatever. So
I don't
gotta
notice
get
the
better
pauses.
at editing. Like I want to get to the fact like where we make this ministry something real.
Right.
Like it's real, don't get me, but
More
like where it's
successful.
generating
Right.
revenue and stuff to where we can have better equipment, better
Right.
systems than what we're going to do.
Have guest
tonight.
speakers.
Guest speakers, and be able to pay editors. And we have a producer, but he left. It's like, I got better things to do.
Did you tell him he was our producer?
No.
That might be a problem with communication.
Yeah. We need to tell him.
It's Kevin's brother, and
Oh,
he was
yeah.
supposed to tell him like 6
But you're the
months ago.
lead.
No,
This is the Adam
if,
show.
If I say that, then he gets an attitude and starts doing that. He's like, yeah, I won't even show up, whatever. Like when I said you're gonna do it, he's like, well, I guess I won't even show up. You're already gonna have a new whatever.
Are we having quarrels between
He
this
just
brotherhood?
gets very upset. He gets sad. He gets lonely. Like last time we did a podcast, he got all mad because I was telling all the single ladies to send in their applications, and he's like, "Don't do that, man." Like.
It's not what this is about. Okay?
Yeah,
No,
and then
it's
he's
not.
like, "I'm gonna be single until Jax is 18." I'm like, "Okay, well, that's dumb, but all right." Because then he gets
Dude,
like
for real.
this.
It's looking like forever now.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's something unless Jesus drops somebody in church right next
So
to me.
you,
Nobody. Yep.
so the name of your town is what again?
Benson.
Benson.
Yes.
And you
I'm
got
gonna
a
switch
you
this.
have a local church in Benson.
Put that in the center.
But my notes are on here.
Yeah, just on the side.
Well, yeah, but then you can grab. Oh, yeah, there you
See
go.
what I'm saying?
There you go.
Okay.
It's like
So
just picking up the voice.
Gotcha.
You have a local church in Benson that you attend?
I do. I go
Let's
to
give a shout
Community Bible Church
Community Bible Church in Benson, Arizona. Shout out.
in the J6 area.
All right, what's the
J6.
pastor's name? What is it like that?
John Allen?
Or what?
John Ellen?
Allen.
Allen.
Yes. Hi, John.
Allen.
John,
Shout out John Allen.
good name.
You're probably not going to watch this, but maybe Meredith will make the whole church watch this.
I might.
Might.
Put us on the teleprompter.
We don't have that.
No, they got flat screen TVs because I take, incentive in my friends' lives and I watch.
He
what they
watches
do,
some
and
of
she
our
puts her
videos.
church services.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Kevin got rid of his social media, so he just uses mine.
What is this social media?
No, he had it, but he took it. So like he said, I'm taking off, which is good. But then I'll be going through my Street Smart stuff, and I'm like, when did I post this? Like I thought I was maybe waking up in my sleep. No, he goes on. He uses my social media to post stuff.
Oh, that's not nice.
Well, it's all
It's all connected.
good stuff.
Okay.
It's good stuff. He hasn't.
I mean,
And my personal, my personal page is never anything very personal.
I
It's
don't
usually.
go on your personal page. Just
I
Street
know
Smart.
you don't, but that face makes it look a little. He's like,
A little not innocent.
no. So you go.
I got locked out of the Instagram, so I just have Facebook.
So-
the Street Smart Christian Facebook.
Pastor
That's
Allen.
what I like to put songs
Yes.
on.
And do they have a women's ministry there as well?
Yes.
Do you lead that?
No.
Are you a part of it?
Oh, you gave your testimony a little bit. That's what I watched on your church service too. They had
Oh,
you come up and
yes.
you gave a little bit of your testimony,
Yeah.
which I thought was pretty cool.
Thank you.
I wish our church did that a little bit more. I understand we don't have a whole lot of time.
Right. Well, that was a specific.
It was a specific night, yeah. I
it
mean, I
was
wish we
a
had.
series that we were going through with the Beatitudes.
Okay, yeah, the Beatitudes. Rick has gone over the Beatitudes.
Right.
We've done that through men's
Well, part
Bible
of
study
the
as well.
program I go to on Fridays, which is Celebrate Recovery,
Okay,
we go through the Beatitudes.
and so Celebrate Recovery is something that's near and dear to your heart.
It is.
You wanted to talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
Is that just your church's organization, or is that a
No, this
national?
is a nationwide organization,
org.
and
Okay.
there's some in the Colorado Springs area.
So, quick question before you get into all the details of Celebration Recovery, right? That's what it's called.
Celebrate
Recovery.
Recovery.
What is so? It's a Christian,
It's a Christ-based
Christ-based.
recovery program.
So AA is also Christian based.
It is not.
Okay, well then, never mind.
It's. I think AA is more
It was founded.
higher power.
Higher
based
power.
It is.
Right.
than it is Christ.
It originally, like when I was researching it, like originally was a Christian, and then
Organization, right.
it grew to the monster that it is today. Which
Right.
I'm not knocking AA.
Right.
Like
Some people need
God
AA.
bless all
Right.
of you that are in AA, and if you
Right.
need that, I know there's a lot of AA communities that really help people.
Absolutely.
The Rush Community Church does an AA there.
Yep.
So there are still AA organizations that are
Right.
Christ-centered.
Right.
The Black Forest Community Church has an AA there. I had a coworker that was going there for a little bit, and I think he's a believer, but he's not a church member or nothing like that. And so we didn't come to work. He'd be like, "Man, they're really pushing this Jesus, that kind of stuff." So I knew. So that was kind of the question: what would differentiate Celebrate Recovery and AA?
Well, Celebrate Recovery is Christ-centered, and
Okay.
we have principles. We have 8 principles that are based on the Beatitudes.
Okay,
We still have 12 steps, just like AA.
AA. Okay.
But we also include Christ in our recovery because he's the only one that can take those burdens away from us.
So, do you have weekly meetings?
Yeah, we have weekly meetings. It starts out with a meal, and then we go into a large group where we sing worship songs.
Oh, okay, so that's
that's
different.
Yeah, and then we'll give a testimony or we'll learn a lesson out of the book. And then we break into separate groups for men and women.
So, is it a Bible study, or do you guys focus on addiction recovery too?
So it's not just for addiction, it's for any kind of addiction.
So,
You can
somebody
have
who might have been molested or
right
sexually
emotional problems, sexual problems, relationship
mental
problems,
abuse.
mental. Yeah. Anything that you have a hurt, a habit, or a hang up over is the slogan.
Hurt, habit, or hang up.
Right.
I like that.
Which is like everything.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's one single person that wouldn't benefit from Celebrate Recovery.
Yeah.
Now, can somebody do this? So there's no Celebrate. Okay, for instance, there's no Celebrate Recovery. This is the first time I've ever heard of it.
Right.
You said there's in Colorado Springs.
Yes.
But now let's say I want to be a part of that, but there's no Celebrate Recovery group out here.
Right.
Is there like an online
There are online.
course or like a?
There are online group meetings.
Okay, so like, help me out here.
Like you want to start it up out here?
You can.
No. Like if I wanted
Zoom
to
calls?
Zoom, yeah.
Zoom. Yes, they do have Zoom meetings because it is anonymous,
Okay,
and that's very important.
so if I wanted to check it out,
Right.
I could go into a Zoom meeting
Right.
through Celebrate Recovery. Now, is this a nonprofit organization?
Yes.
So people can donate
Yes.
if they want to. They have a
Yep.
website. What's the website?
So there's a national website called celebraterecovery.com, and through that website you can find your local chapter,
Okay.
and then you can set up a time to call them and see if there's a Zoom meeting available for
Right.
you. And then if you decide to donate, you just pick the one that you would like to donate to.
Now, how easy is it? Let's say if I wanted to get in touch with Celebrate Recovery and I wanted to start my own Celebrate Recovery here at the church, how easy is that? Or do you have a class? Do you have to go through training?
Well, I had to go through some training, and I had to finish some books and go through the steps to be a leader.
Okay.
But the people that actually run it, you have to have a state representative come out and help you get it started up because there's a lot of rules to go by. And
especially
you have to
with
go
people that
through
are-
the steps and make sure you know what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you get that?
I'm just a leader. I just lead the women's group, and then we just listen. You just go in the room. If you have something to talk about, you just talk about it. I'm not a counselor.
Yeah.
I can't fix it.
Right.
I'm just there to listen and guide in the best way that I know how.
Right.
You know, I've been approached here at this church by our pastor and different sources here, you know, that know a little bit of my background and stuff like that, and asked if it, you know, if it would be beneficial for us to start in, and this before we know what Celebrate Recovery is, anything. It's very, a lot of people are very naive to those kind of things.
Right.
But they asked, do you think it'd be beneficial to start an AA
Right.
or something in Callahan? Because, for instance, I didn't do AA. This was my AA.
Right.
Becoming a part, God definitely had his hand. You know, in one of my Bible studies, you know, I learned that people can be ultimately delivered from something.
Right.
Some people need that help. Some people need the extra push. Some people need that group love and stuff like that. But there are people that if God wants to deliver you from something, he can do that.
Absolutely.
And so I believe it took time, but I believe that's kind of what happened. I didn't have other alcoholics
Right.
to sit around and talk about our problems. Obviously, having an accountability brother in Kevin helped
Right.
because I could just pour my guts out to him and
Right.
say, you know, this is what I used to struggle with. This is what people used to point their fingers, and I don't understand
Right.
why were people saying this. You know, I had a lot of people calling me, which there's different levels to being an alcoholic. I get that.
Right.
I wasn't the kind of alcoholic that had to wake up in the morning and polish off a six-pack to get my day started. However, I would consider myself a functioning alcoholic because I could drink every night and be 100% okay during the day, but I wasn't blackout drunk every day. But I drank a lot by myself.
Right.
I drank a lot because of problems, masking my problems. I was a social drinker. It brought it out. So, but with that, people, when I drank by myself, that's what people seen. So they're like, you have a problem. That, and I got in trouble 3 times.
Right.
I was never drunk when I got pulled over, but I would always admit to having a couple of drinks.
Right.
And, well, we all know those rules. And so,
But it was your habit because of your hurt.
so yeah, and then so the last time that I got in trouble, you know, I gotta, and so when I got involved in church here, because Rick was, I only knew him as like, I thought he was the only pastor in the Eastern Plain, you know.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know. I knew church. I was raised Christian, very lukewarm. But Rick did all of my grandparents' funerals, and he sang
Right.
at events. And so I'm like, well, I know that one. So this could have been a Mormon church,
Right.
but I knew Rick, so out of
Oh,
came.
wow.
So I walked in 2017, May of 2017, and I've been, I could probably count on two hands maybe how many Sundays I've missed since then.
Wow.
And then I got involved in the Bible studies, and so all that. Did I quit drinking when I walked through the?
No.
No, I didn't. I became more of a closeted drinker, actually. But then after a while, you know, when you really accept Christ and you really start living for Him, you get convicted now all of a sudden.
Right.
And you're like, why am I depressed every time I drink a beer?
Right.
Like, it just doesn't feel the same anymore.
That's God
Then all of a
reaching down
sudden,
and making you
it
convicted.
starts to
Yeah.
click. And then you just, okay. And then you take a few weeks, you take a month or so, and then you're like, oh man, I'm going to stop by and get a tall boy. And then all of a sudden you're sitting in your room like, why do I feel like that? Like, it's not that God's telling you that you can't drink. He's saying you can't.
Right.
I have a different purpose for you.
Right.
But that's a little bit of where I was going with that is with all that experience, there's a lot of people in this community that struggle.
Right.
A lot. That are really good people that struggle.
Right.
And it's like it's struggling in silence, you know.
Yeah,
People are afraid to.
And the thing
And
is,
there's no recovery programs
right.
locally here. And if anybody is, I grew up in this community, and so everybody's kind of like-minded in this community in the sense that I'm not going to Black Forest Community Church to AA.
Right.
I don't know anybody at Black Forest Community Church.
Right.
For some people, that's okay because they don't want anybody.
Yeah, I
to
feel
know.
like there's an
Because
appeal
it's an
to that.
anonymous
But in
thing,
this
right.
community, it's so tight knit that I feel that somebody would be more apt to go to a recovery program or to an AA if they knew that somebody else that had the same struggle as them was also going.
Right.
It's kind of like started doing men's prayer breakfast. He was too afraid to come, and now we see that's done now with the thought that he didn't live up to that. Like,
Right.
he didn't know anybody here. And then he started coming to church more and more. It became his family, and now he comes and,
Right.
you know, whatever he does
Yeah.
outside of these, it's okay. So now he's in these groups, and he's grown in Christ a lot better. But the only one that I know of is I have a friend that I used to rodeo with that drank heavy his entire life and is now going on 2 years sober.
Wow.
But he goes to AA in Rush at the Rush Community Church
Wow.
every Wednesday night.
That's cool.
He gets the chips,
Yep.
the whole thing. He's
they
got
do
a plaque.
Yeah.
I was
and
just
we do.
so I was going to segue into that. Like,
Right.
do you guys have some kind of initiative like the chip or
We do. We do.
So, but how does that work for if not everybody's a drug addict or an alcoholic?
So the first chip you get is a blue chip, and that is just your first time giving your hurt, habit, or hang up to Jesus and saying, please
Leaving it
take
at the
this away
cross.
from me. Yep. Leave it at the cross, and I'm going to start my recovery program now. Whether it's like for me, I have relationship problems. I have eating problems. You know, just there's a whole gamut of different things that you can have problems with. It doesn't have to be drugs and alcohol. And also, you don't have to be a member of the church that you go to the recovery program at.
Right.
You don't even have to be a believer. You just have to want to give up that thing. And then we can start working with getting you over the humps and getting past those certain dates. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like that's a common thing across the board. I mean, in order to get over something, you need to address it.
Right.
You know, a lot of people nowadays, they just want to close it up and,
Right.
if I can't see it, it doesn't exist.
Right.
You know, like if it's something that I do behind closed doors, it's not a big deal. No one will know.
And this isn't counseling, it's not fixing it. It is purely based on your need to give something up to God
Yeah.
if you don't believe in God, just giving up that thing and coming to share with other people why you want to give up that thing, and you'll find Him
That's
there.
right where you find God.
That's right. That's right. And it's a great stepping stone in recovery. And, you know, like our leader, Rick, he's been in recovery for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
You know, one of our favorite comedians that is a common ground for Kevin and I that really got our friendship going was a comedian named Theo Vaughn. And he openly talks about recovery. He's an AA.
mhm.
And he's been in it for a long time. He had a relapse or whatever for a little short bit, and then he's got to be in meetings, whether it's Zoom, whatever town he's in, wherever he's at.
Right.
It's like this close knit family, and he's said that he'll probably be in it for the rest of his life
Yeah.
Right.
because he has to have that.
Well, that's the beauty in, you know, developing a relationship with Christ.
That's right.
Right.
You can't just say, "Oh yeah, I believe in Jesus," and
Right.
that's it.
Right.
You have to develop that relationship, and it's a long-term thing. It's
It
not
is.
it's not a one and done, or you get baptized and you're good. It's
Right.
like you have to go from the inside and develop that relationship,
Right.
and that's where you'll find freedoms. And you still have the trouble,
Right.
and you're always going to have temptation. We're stuck in this world that's
Right.
just filled with it.
And a little bit different from AA with our CHIP program is you can fall off the wagon. You can have a hang up come up. You can have a stumbling block, but you've still been coming consistently for 6 months. So let's give you that 6 month CHIP.
Yeah.
Because you're dedicated to coming, and nobody's perfect, and
Yeah.
nobody can do life without Christ.
They don't
And that's why.
excommunicate you because you messed up too
No,
many
absolutely
times.
not. No.
I don't know if AA does that or not, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
You have to start. You have to start over in the program, I believe.
Yeah, you start over with another 1 month sober,
Right.
2 months sober.
Right.
But I think AA is more specifically for drug and alcohol addiction. I don't think
getting
AA
hot.
focuses on mental abuse, physical abuse, spousal abuse, eating addictions,
Right.
money
And there are
spending
separate
addictions.
groups for all of
pornography.
these
No.
things, but with Celebrate Recovery, we cover all of these things, whatever your problem might be. And just listening to other people and how they deal with it throughout the day. In my group, particularly with my co-leader and I, we read a devotional every Friday
That's
with,
cool. You
with
have
our
a
group.
co-leader with you. That
Right. Yeah,
That's
every
really
group
cool.
should have a co-leader and a leader. And then when your groups get bigger, then
I knew he was going to do it.
cut it out. You're gonna have to cut that whole piece out.
No, I'm not, because he
Timestamp.
Everybody needs to know that he's a crybaby. So
yeah.
Go ahead.
I think that's what
Oh,
they
are
see.
you saying you should be the co-leader?
yeah, because you were talking about co-leader, and then I was waiting for him.
Everybody
He
should have
got
a co-leader.
that serious.
Gotcha.
He's like,
Oh, I
oh, yeah,
gotcha.
everybody needs a co-leader, and he went,
Yeah. Yeah. I understand. Co-leader Kevin.
okay, please, sorry, Kevin didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. It was Adam who actually interrupted you.
No, but he did.
Oh, true.
He did.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not
I
going
mean,
to look at him
leaves.
anymore for the
Well, I
podcast.
did interrupt that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So you have a co-leader,
Yes.
and you guys kind of
We-
tag team this whole deal.
We do. You know, she lives on the other side of town, so some of the gals that live on that side of town, she can meet with during the week and keep track of, and I can keep track of the ones that live on my side of town, and you know, we check in on each other.
I was going to say, do you guys are like accountability partners? Do you?
She's
Call
my
each
accountability
other.
partner.
Yeah.
We call each other, text each other, check in. We still have to meet to go through steps. There's several step books, and it's just diving in more to learn why you have these hurts, habits, and hangups, and how to give them to Christ, and how to deal with life with these problems. And eventually, these problems they don't go away.
Yeah.
They're going to always be a part of you. But you learn how to retrain your brain to live life with Christ in mind at the forefront. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, in that program, like, do you guys do things like building timelines, like digging into your past at all, or
No.
you don't,
You-
you don't go anywhere there?
When you're in your separate groups, whatever group you might go into, it's only men that meet with men and women meet with women. Your time that you share is your time, and you share whatever you feel like, whatever you want to vent, whatever you want to share about your past. If you just have something on your mind that day, even if it's positive, to share that, because people need to hear what's positive about your life as well. So, if somebody wants to dive in deeper, then we can do step programs
You do like
aside.
one-on-ones
Right.
with people.
We can,
Yeah.
right. But we're still not counselors, and
No,
we're not
right.
fixers.
Yeah.
It's just being accountable
Well, I
for each
think
other.
that's the beautiful thing about developing communities. You know,
Right.
like even when you find a church, we talk about that a lot. We're like, go find a church where you have that fellowship,
Right.
where you may not even need to say a single thing, but
Right.
someone else says something, and you're like, whoa.
See, that's so important. I don't know how to express that enough. Because do you watch my little short videos that I put out there on Facebook sometimes? No, you don't. So I just did one the other day.
Sometimes when you're in the
I think it
bar-
was 2 days ago. I did one, I think it was Hebrews 10:25, and it says, "Let us not forget that we need to get together, assemble. Let's keep doing that, unlike other people that don't."
Right.
And it was just basically a thing like we need to get together with like-minded Christians, and the only way I can express that is finding a good church, finding it, and of course here comes the keyboard cowboys, and we haven't had any in quite a while, which kind of made me happy that one came. I'm like, hey, you guys are still paying attention, and he didn't say anything. So he didn't say anything bad. However, he was very against church and church buildings, and so I said, hey brother, I understand, I'm not saying you have to go. I said, I understand a church building doesn't save you,
Right.
but I threw a bunch of scripture at him, and I said, we need each other to build each other up in Christ, to edify Christ. We need that. And then it went on to, well, there's just so many judgmental jerks. But I said, I get it. Christians are the most hypocritical people you're ever going to meet. I get it. Some of the most nasty people you can meet are Christian people. I understand it. But however, so are people in Walmart. So are people
Everywhere.
at Target. So are people. And I'm going over all these different scenarios because these keyboard cowboys will go, oh, I don't shop at Walmart. I don't.
But we're all
And I
hypocrites.
said, you can't stay in your house by yourself because you'll go crazy.
Yeah.
And you people that do that are crazy people. And that's what I straight up said, like, that's. And he said, he waited a day and then he came back and he's like, I used to be a brick building church. He had these fancy words. And he kind of got offended that I said that he thought I was saying the only people that you can talk to Christ about is in church. And that's not what I said. I said that's where you can find
Like-minded
other like-minded Christian people.
Because fellowshipping doesn't have to happen in the building. It can
I
happen
have
anywhere.
Christian friends that don't go to church. And great. If you're meeting in your kitchen, guess what? You guys are meeting at church.
Yeah.
Your kitchen is your church.
Right.
Your backyard is your church. Your car is your church. I didn't say you have to go to St. Mary's or Living Word or Black Forest Community. I said you need to get into the body of Christ.
Yeah. It's like Meredith is saying.
And
you don't find that at a
but
brick
no, you
building.
don't.
You find it in your heart when
Right.
you're with Christ.
Right. And you find these people. And most of the time, like for me, I wasn't finding those people at the backyard bonfires that I was attending when I wanted to find those people. I was making those people up, saying, of course, these guys have to be. You believe in Jesus? Yeah, I do. Good enough. I needed to find people that were in their Bibles so that I can grow
Right.
and my fruit can be fertilized.
Right.
And you're not, if you're not with like-minded Christian people that are in their Bible. I'm not just talking people that say there's tons of people that say they're Christians
Exactly. But there's a
that
difference.
don't even own a Bible.
Right.
And that used to be me. Yeah, my grandma told me about Jesus. I'm a Christian. They're
Right.
the good guys, right?
Yeah, I
want
got
to be
saved
part of
when
the
I
good
was
guys.
9. I was a Christian.
Yeah. And so, but when you really become saved and your heart, you get your salvation, the Holy Spirit gets inside and he's like, I'm not going nowhere.
Yep.
That's when you get the discernment to say, I got to get in my Bible.
Yeah.
I need to find people that know about this book
Right.
because I don't know anything.
Right.
That's what seems like the beauty in what you're doing is that it's, calling people that you don't have to be Christian.
Right.
Just come.
Just come.
And that's like a big step for most people. And
It is.
even talking about going to church or anything.
Right.
Just go.
Right. We just meet at a church building.
Right.
That's just where we get to meet.
We're the church.
Right.
And I understand it. But when I say the C word, people they lose their minds.
Right.
He makes those faces, and then people automatically assume when I say the C word, they're like, wow, what's Kevin thinking about? So,
Cookies.
still what I really, okay.
That could
I'm
be taken.
I'm editing that out. I am editing this. So the whole spiel we just did over church is getting taken out, and that guy just won on Facebook. Thank you, Kevin. Do we ever tell you the story, to get off topic a little bit, about the first time we had somebody, I paid for ads on Facebook, so it would take our Street Smart page and send it to thousands of people.
No.
You have to pay like $30, which is stupid. It's all part of the game.
Right.
Like, why can't you just show everybody our web or our
Right.
site anyways? So we pay money, and then you get all these followers. That's how we've gotten. It's probably cost me more money than I want to talk about
bit.
to get 2,400 followers.
Does Kaylee know?
Yes, she does.
Okay.
Oh
Kaylee
yeah, she
knows.
knows. She knows. And so the first time we would put out videos, or we would put out our podcast, or we would put out just things before I started creating our own Bible verse things that I put out there with our website on the bottom.
Right.
This guy, well, it would send just the logo for Street Smart Christian to people.
Right.
Hey, you want to follow this? The recommendation, follow this. And this guy read our title, and he was like, if anybody ever believed that woman was created by the rib of a man is not street smart, they're dumber than toast. And I was like, I don't know what to do with this. So I screenshot it and send to him. and I'm like,
Send you a gift back.
because we're really fresh in our ministry at this point.
Right.
And so we want to do what we naturally want to do and like lay into this guy. But we're like, okay, we're starting a ministry. We can't do it.
Right. You want to be.
So he sends me a
good-
gif of Nacho Libre eating toast, and he's going, that's a good toast. Just like this monk eating toast. It's a good toast. Because the guy said, you're dumb as toast.
Yeah.
And I don't think we ever sent that to that guy,
No.
but we laughed so hard. And then
Is that when you fell out of the chair?
no, I was trying to get a water bottle off it. We were closer to that, and I reached.
He fell in slow motion. He's like,
Yeah. And We've
watch that
had the transgender community come after us pretty hard, flipping us off, telling us to leave them alone. I'm like, I didn't do it. Facebook did.
Yeah. Oh, you mean because their algorithms are.
Yeah, so it would go through there, and then if they would click on it, Facebook, and I didn't know I had to change it, would automatically send them a message from us that would say like, welcome, how are you? How can we help? People are like, F you, like, I don't need your help. Shut up and leave me alone. And I'm like, why are people sending me this hate mail? Well, then I figured out that Facebook was automatically sending them a message with Street Smart title,
Right.
telling them, welcome to our page. How can we help?
Right.
I don't need your, they were just, I was like, jeez. But a lot of those haters would like the page, like follow it. So they
Right.
would become part of our followers anyways. Then we would get the Catholic priest guys and stuff like that, and they were coming at us pretty hard, and you know, that one true church, and you guys are sending your flock straight to hell, and blah blah blah. And I've always replied to the big ones with grace, and I always send it to Kevin usually first, and like, what do you think of this? And
He sends it to you for grace?
Yeah.
I'm the editor.
Yeah, so don't see he keeps crying about, oh, you're not a part of this team.
He is, look, he's
But
got
we
tears.
run everything by each other. See, that's all he does, dude.
I just make faces, okay?
Yeah.
I'm good at making faces, and they can be taken wrong.
Oh.
Apparently.
Is that like assuming? When
Assuming.
somebody texts
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
What does it make?
Something out of you and me.
Yeah.
So celebrate recovery. It's a program you're passionate about. It's your church family, Pastor Allen.
Yep.
It's community church. Like, what is it called again? Benson Community Church?
No. Community Bible Church of
Community
Benson.
Bible Church.
Yes, and it's in the J6 area.
In the J6 area. It's kind of like the 313 in Detroit.
Yeah, we're the J6.
I think I just threw up gang signs. I'm sorry.
And you have, okay, so then you brought notes. Was there anything that we're missing that you had notes or do you, that you wanted to talk about? Oh, what to talk about? Well, let's talk about a little bit about you were from Colorado. You moved to Arizona.
I did.
And are you in Arizona for the long haul now, or what is your plan? Like, what brought you to Arizona? And you don't have to go into all the detail, but go into as much as you want.
Well,
One, it's warmer.
Yeah, see, we know how to get through the awkwardness.
honestly, I really do believe that God took me to Arizona for a reason.
Okay.
And through all of the relationship issues that happened down there from here, nothing
Yeah.
had changed. And God showed me that there are other things out there for me other than just staying where I've been, what I know,
So
and where I'm from.
you shared a little bit in the beginning about an addiction to maybe toxic relationship
Right.
kind of stuff, eating problems,
Right.
eating addictions,
Yes.
stuff like that. Were those the two major? I know in your testimony you shared a little bit about spending money,
Yes.
addiction, like compulsive buying or whatever
Yes.
you called it,
Yes.
buyer's remorse or whatever it is. I don't know if you had that.
Just
but
overspending.
spending money,
Yeah.
eating addictions, toxic relationships.
Right.
Did you ever struggle with alcohol? Or, I mean, let me put it this way. Did you ever consider yourself an alcoholic?
I didn't. I drank when I was in high school.
Okay, because as long as I've known you, I've never heard you talk anything of, like, you were never a drinker.
Right.
And that could be because of a lot of your past situations that
Right.
steered you away from it. But,
Exactly.
And that was one thing that was, because when you did your testimony, I had only known a little bit about what was going on with like the toxicity of things.
Right.
So I thought maybe that was the whole testimony. I didn't know about the spending, which I knew from previous girls that I've known that that's a real thing.
Right.
Addicted to, like, you get depressed and you just start buying stuff.
Right.
Going
Right.
to
So it
stores,
was a
buying
vicious
stuff.
cycle. So
Yeah.
my partner at the time, whatever he was doing, it would set me off, and I would go on my spending spike.
I'm glad you
cycle.
said he.
Yes, I'm sorry. My husband at the time, I would go on my spending cycle and eating cycle and trying to cover up those hurt feelings.
Yeah, trying to find that
Right.
that little boost of
What would give me that feel good thing? And it was a temporary feeling because
Yeah.
nothing can give you the best feeling and joy that Jesus brings to you.
it's a temporary.
It's a
thing.
temporary Band-Aid.
You feel worse after,
Absolutely.
especially when you know Christ. Like you
Right.
talked about it earlier. Like
Yeah.
you're convicted by doing these things that you know don't work. You've done them
Right.
how many times,
Right.
and you go back to it, and you're like, that was it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would never consider myself an alcoholic, which is there's nothing wrong with that because I love all the people that are in recovery.
I thought you were about to say there's nothing wrong with being an alcoholic, but I wasn't one. I'm like,
No. I mean,
yeah, just
it's okay.
staring at me the whole
It's
time.
okay. That's just not my thing. But I would say in high school I struggled with alcohol because it was another way to cover up how I was feeling.
Right.
And that was something I knew what I could do. I hadn't, I was younger and in better shape.
So the other thing that
I
we
didn't
can
have an eating problem then.
relate to, beside, obviously alcoholism is two different playing fields here
Right.
for both of us, but I can relate to you with toxic relationships.
Right.
I've been in and out of toxic relationships my entire life.
Right.
One being a very, very toxic relationship that but though got me closer to a church family, because I got closer to you through Lisa.
Right.
And Lisa was with me through one of those toxic relationships
Right.
that was really bad. And so, I don't know about for instance, and I've talked to Kevin about this throughout all my relationships. I never broke up with anybody ever. That wasn't my nature because I
neither.
always thought it's going to change.
It's a
It's
hard
going to
change.
change.
I always get left.
Yeah, no, me too. 100% of the time. And sometimes I was so like a couple of them, I'm like, thank God you left.
Right. But this time was different because this time God had moved me somewhere that I was unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
My family
Took you out of your
wasn't there.
comfort zone for sure.
Absolutely. And I had to stand on my own two feet
Yeah,
and say,
let's find Meredith.
it's done.
Yeah.
We need to be done with this because I can't continue down this road.
So, but for me, did you ever feel like through these toxic relationships that you were only in that relationship because that's what you thought you needed to do? I need to be in a relationship. I can fix this person. This
Yes.
person will change. They're going to change. I just got to go
Right.
roll
Well, that's
through
the
punches.
biggest thing about being a codependent person.
Yeah, for sure.
That is the DNA of a codependent.
Mm-hmm.
You think you can fix them. You're not good enough to be with them, so you just cower and do
Yeah.
whatever they want and try
Oh,
to
man.
be
I've been through so many
Yeah.
nightmares just because of that.
right.
And maybe they'll see that I'm a good person. So, like I said, my entire life, toxic relationships. Most 90% of them were alcohol driven. Either I was drinking too much, or we were drinking together. The whole relationship was just
Right.
based on being drunk the whole time.
Right.
And then when I became a Christian, I thought I got out of a really bad 5-year relationship. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to take time for me and my daughter now. My daughter moved in with me. And I took a couple of years to myself. And now I thought, I got to figure it out. I'm a Christian man now. I got to figure it out. I'm going to find me a Christian woman. These guys in men's Bible studies say God will put a woman right in your path.
Right.
Boom, right there. That was when I got into a relationship with the person that knew Lisa. And all of that went,
Yep.
I went right back to the person I was before.
Right.
And I wanted all those things.
Right.
Move
Because
in
you
with
didn't-
me.
You didn't
Da-da-da.
fix the codependent part of it.
No, I wanted them to move in with me. I wanted to take care of them. I wanted to take care of their family.
Right.
I wanted the nice little housewife and this and that. And we were just going to be one happy family. And that was going to be okay because that was God's plan. And, you talk to different pastors that are like, well, the wedding ring and the ceremony, that's, when your souls are together. And so I'm like, I'm going by these like shady rules. And so, but I'm still coming to church and wearing 2 masks,
Right.
and really quick I learned that doesn't work.
Right.
And so I got out of that nightmare
Right.
and I said, I'm done. At this point though, and you might have felt this way too. At this point, I had been so hurt and damaged that I was done. Like I can't say I didn't like females, but I didn't like females like that anymore.
Right.
I was doing the whole Paul, like, it's better to be alone.
Right.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about Celebrate Recovery with me. I needed that program to teach me how to get out of those kind of relationships.
Okay.
Were you in that when you
No.
were still with?
No, this was long after he had left.
Really?
Yes.
So that separation happened.
Right.
You're probably going through all these same things where you have
Right.
these thoughts. You're like, oh gosh, or you're upset with it, but then
Right.
you found this, and it
Right.
just was exactly where you needed to
That's
be.
where God put me. God put me in Arizona for a reason. I needed to grow more. I needed to learn more. And I needed to get out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Because God moves people
Yeah.
out of their comfort
Yeah.
zones for various reasons, and mine was to get a hold of my life so that I could be a good representative of Christ and also be a good mom.
Right.
My kids are all grown up now, but they still need a mom.
Yeah, your mom.
Yeah,
forever.
for sure.
Right.
For
That's
sure.
a forever job.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. I still
Right.
call mine every day.
Yeah,
I mean,
and my brother and my sister need me.
yeah.
So I think that's where I learned that maybe it won't happen for me, maybe it will, but it's only in God's will that
Give
this
it
is
to
going to
God.
happen. Right. And I still have a lot of healing left to do. It hasn't been that long, but also I have a lot of joy in my life. I love my life. I miss people here, but I still have connections here.
Yeah.
But God has me doing a lot of work down there.
Yeah.
And I really do enjoy that. And I'm learning how not to be codependent
Yeah.
You can be codependent all you want on Christ.
on Christ. Absolutely.
That's the only relationship we truly need. I mean, you look
That's
at
right.
Adam with his life. I mean, you've been through it too, and
Right.
you found Kaylee.
Well, that was
You
the
know?
next thing that I was going to say. I was so angry that I said, okay, I'm not looking anymore. I'm not going to try. I'm not, I never did the dating sites. I never did any of that junk. I did it once, and that night, that was a real big nightmare, and I swore never again.
That's where my 20-year nightmare came.
Well, no, yeah. Well, that's where my 5-year one came from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was
I'm more stubborn.
a nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah, 20.
No.
There's a lot.
They let, oh, thank God they let, because it could have easily been that for me. Yeah.
Right.
But I'm done. I'm done with this. I got a good friendship out of Lisa with it.
She's a great friend.
Yeah, she was, and she was an ear.
Yeah.
But she also wasn't afraid to, tell me what was real too.
Right.
And so I got a great friendship out of that. I got a relationship with her kids. Started hanging out with them, taking them hunting and doing things like that, and just doing me finally. And then that's when, gotta edit that out. And then then I started getting really involved in the church, and that's when Rick, the pastor here, said, I think there's somebody you need to meet. It's his eyes, I know.
That's my 12-year-old brain.
I know. And that's why.
Straight face, just looking at the camera.
Don't stare at him.
That's what. And so now I'm married for 2 years and have a 1.5-year-old daughter.
She's almost 2?
Should be 2 in March.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah. But through all of that chaos, it's just like Jesus on the boat. Through all of that, and I'm just, come on, God, wake up. Like, what? I'm going to die. Like, something bad's going to happen. Either I'm going to drink myself to death, I'm going to end up in prison because I'm going to get another DUI. I cannot live like this anymore. And he's just, calm down.
Yeah.
I'm taking a nap.
Yeah.
Settle down.
Ye of little faith.
Yeah. And then just like that, my entire world flipped.
Yep.
And now I live on something that I dreamed of since I was a kid. I've wanted to live on or have a ranch. It's not mine, but it kind of is. I've wanted that my entire life. Just like that, he made it happen.
Yeah.
I have a wife that's not a jealous wife, which I've never been that guy. I've never gave people a reason to be jealous.
Right.
I would just find the most insecure girls that ever lived.
Right. And Kaylee is.
No, she's not. She's the most secure woman I've ever met.
Secure in
she's
Christ, man.
She's the most godly woman that I've ever been with.
She is.
She lifts me up in absolutely everything that I do. When we were dating when we were engaged, and I thought, oh my gosh, she's been going to her church for so long, and I don't want to leave. But that's my brain. I was a follower.
Yeah.
I'm going to do everything that makes you happy and put my feelings to the side.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I guess if we got to start going to your church, could we still come to mine every now and then? She's like, no, we're going to your church. You're the man. I follow you. You said, what? And yeah, so we're here. And, but yet she supports the ministry.
Right.
She supports Kevin and I's relationship. She supports the time that we need to vent to each other, to get things off of our chest. She doesn't question what we're doing. We don't give her a reason to. And she's fun. Whenever she's around, she takes interest in Kevin's life and in Kevin's son's life, and make sure that Kevin's son gets gifts and things, all that stuff.
So how do you handle
I didn't know how to handle it, huh?
how do you handle quarreling with her?
Like arguments?
Right.
We haven't really had any
No
because
disagreements?
we nip it in the butt right now.
That fast. Right.
That fast. If something
Communication.
is bothering any of us, it's, hey, can I talk to you about this real quick?
Right.
It's not let's wait till the end of the day or let's
Right.
wait till the end of the week and then you're going to do something stupid and I'm just going to lose my mind.
Right.
It's, hey, but there hasn't been a whole lot of that.
Right.
It's more like,
You started off in the beginning the right way.
right. It's more like if she has an issue, it's because I'm getting a bad attitude at work.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, hey, if that's bugging you, then I think it's better that you quit your job.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what's making you mad or depressed, I think you need to leave. I don't think it's healthy for you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if these are your dreams and your goals, then if we got to sell the farm to get it, let's do it. But if you're gonna be depressed and have a bad attitude and take it out on everybody around you, then we need to change it now.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do to help change this? Instead of you're being a jerk,
Right.
why don't you just shut up? And the whole. And I mean, and there's really not a whole lot that I'm like, hey, Kaylee, you need to. There's a couple of things. Of course, there's always a little bit of things where, she's an introvert. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And so those kind of things, we have to take each other out of our comfort zone, and that sometimes causes a little bit of tension.
Yeah. Going back to that, there's no growth if you're in a comfort zone.
No.
If you sit there and you're comfortable with your life, the status quo, you're not going to grow. And that's in God's kingdom too.
Right.
So yeah,
He's going to put you out there and say, hey,
Well, I wasn't comfortable with my life here.
yeah,
But I sought refuge in this church and in the body of Christ, and I had all the support I needed. I just was too stubborn to see it, and I wasn't allowing God fully in my life. Like an outsider looking into your relationship, I was jealous. God doesn't want us to be jealous. I should have celebrated you more than being jealous that why does he get to have a good relationship and why can't I even fix mine? I've been trying to fix mine for
so I
ages.
did that all the time,
Yeah,
and
but nobody has a perfect relationship either.
and I developed a lot more relationships in this church with people who have a lot more experience than I do,
Right,
a lot older people,
right.
and that were completely, like, from the outside looking in, they had this perfect little marriage going on, and then
Right.
you get to know them, and they're like, whoa.
Yeah.
No,
But there's
it's not.
something to be said about being equally yoked.
Oh, for sure. I am
That is something I have to do.
150%
Yeah.
on board with that. And it took 35, 36 years.
It's taking me 40.
I know, well, you know what I mean? But I had a lot of relationships in that time, but I was never equally yoked with
Right.
any of them
Me neither.
until Kaylee came. And I believe, God took me through all of that
Right.
to get here so that I learn. And I know for a fact, and for the first year, I didn't know how to react to it. I was still like, something's going to happen. It has to
Right.
happen. Like, this is
Waiting
not
for the other
normal.
shoe to
This is
drop.
weird. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how, like, I couldn't sleep good because I'm like, what is going on? Like, every time my phone would ring, I'd be like, oh, God.
Yeah.
I think
And
we can
now-
all relate on the fact that, internally self-sabotage
Yeah.
Right.
is such a tool of the devil.
Yeah.
Like he can get in our heads, or not in our heads, but he can slingshot those
Right.
thoughts
He can influence your
and just say
your
like,
thoughts.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, you weren't good then. You're not going to do it now. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I deal with that on a daily basis, and it's just another chain that he loves to hang on.
Yeah.
And you know what But what the hardest part now for me is I know what it is to be equally yoked. Now, I'm not going to base my relationship on anybody else's relationship.
Right.
I
Everything
don't
is
know. There's no-
individual.
However, I can see some people in relationships that I'm like, I got to pray about that because I don't know if it's equally yoked.
Right.
A lot of people that I know are in relationships where I don't think they're playing on the same team necessarily. I think they've been together for a long time and they do what they have to do to make it work. And sure, they probably do love each other. But I'm like,
That's why I'll
you
never
know-
marry a Bronco fan.
the only thing is, for instance, I cannot imagine to ever be in a relationship
House
and
divided,
again
man, no.
with somebody else that won't go to church with me
Absolutely.
or won't go. We can't talk about the Bible together.
Well, there's something to say about that too, though. I mean, my own parents, they didn't always go to church. My father grew
Right.
up in a Catholic, but it was very sporadic. And then, my mother grew up with some grasp on Christ. And then, we moved out here, found this church, and my mom was coming. She'd bring us kids. And I mean, we fought like heck to not go because it's what kids do, right? But eventually my father came. And then he got plugged into the church, and the rest is history.
Right.
The worship leader, he even in those situations, I think that there's still a chance. But if you're basing it and thinking like, oh, I can get him to go,
Right.
then I think you're already starting off on the wrong foot.
Absolutely.
And it breaks my heart. It really, because I used to be that person. I would come. The shoe was on the other. I was the one coming, and the other person wasn't.
In hopes, yeah.
And I was just like, well, maybe. It never did. I know now why. But there is nothing better than Sunday morning getting up with your family, and both of you are just as excited to go to church. Like, that's not an argument.
Wait
Right.
till Ella gets older. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, no, the kids, that's different. That's different. The kids are different. But when your wife and on your way to church, it's not, why'd you talk to her?
Right.
Why'd you hug her? You hugged her too long. Why are all these late? It's nothing. We fellowship. We are on the same playing field. And we love on everybody that we come across.
Right.
Everybody. I don't go to the checkout line at Walmart and the gal behind the counter, how are you doing? I'm like, great. How are you? How are you doing? And then worry about getting in the car and say, why do you care about what she,
Right.
I've been in those relationships a lot. I was in a 5-year relationship where it was a bloody murder fight in the parking lot because I asked the checkout line girl how her day was. I'm talking brutal. That some people could have heard the screaming and called the cops, and one of us probably would have went to
You
jail.
would have went.
Yeah, for sure. Because I asked, and so the first part of our relationship with Kaylee, I was just, and then Kaylee I'm like, we're in an argument. Cause why didn't you ask that girl how her?
How her
I don't
day
know what
was.
to do with my hands right now.
I don't know what to do with
So
my hands.
yeah, exactly. But there is nothing better than not having to ask my wife, hey, we're gonna go to Christmas Eve service, right? Is that okay? We don't have I don't have to ask permission to go to men's Bible study.
Right.
Because she's like, you're going to men's Bible study.
Right.
Like, that's what you're going to do. You're going to youth group.
Right.
You're going to podcast with Kevin. And you're going to men's Bible study. And we're going to church on Sunday.
And right now, I'm just enjoying my life, being able to just do those things.
Yes, it's
on
so
my own
freeing.
without permission.
Yeah.
It's very freeing, and that's what God
without
wants.
no walls, there's not a chain where you can only go this far
Right.
and then you're stopped. Right. And then you better be home as soon as church is done.
I mean, my dogs get a little upset, but
I'm sure they're fine.
Where you been?
yeah.
I'm starving to death right now.
But then I see other people and it's like, Because then when I come home from men's Bible study, I can go to Kaylee and explain everything that we learned in men's Bible study, and she can relate to the things that we did in the scripture verses and this and that.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking to a wall, or she's not like, I don't care.
Right.
She's like, man, oh, okay, yeah, I remember in Daniel or what. You know, she relates to it. Where I know people that go home and they don't have that.
Right.
Church stops as soon as they walk out that door.
It did for me for several years.
And it did for me. Yeah. And it breaks my heart because I want everybody to have that.
Right.
What I have. To find somebody they're equally yoked with.
Right.
Believers in Christ. Christ.
It's okay, you have to have a lisp.
And and have all of that. And I know that's what Kevin's looking for.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the beautiful thing I think that we're talking about here is like the whole point of recovery. Like, the moment that you stop worrying about all that stuff, all those people, all the things you've been through, you sit there and you're like, Christ, what do I do?
Right.
Give it to you, and that's when you can celebrate recovery, is when you build that relationship with just him.
Yep.
Because then he's like, okay, now we're on the right path. Right.
Mm-hmm.
The path that I've been
trying to get you on.
Trying to make you come to for so long. Yep. You do, and you're like...
And that's a good point.
You're still your old
But that doesn't always mean that he's going to give us a partner.
No. And that's... The thing
we
is...
We have to be okay with that.
Yeah, you have to be like, hey, this is your show.
Right.
I mean, look at Paul.
And this is your show now. Like...
And Christ should be enough to fulfill our lives.
And you know what? That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, because the other great thing that I celebrate with my wife is the fact that we don't love each other as much as we love Christ.
See, you're right. Yeah. He's at the center.
He is. Well, he's at the top.
And that to the world, that is crazy.
Right.
For sure.
That is like,
I was in those relationships. Like, no.
I come first.
Yeah, and then Christ.
See? Yeah, that's.
I dated a girl for 5 years. That's when I really got into faith. Was with her. No, it won't. But I was in the faith, and God's talking to us because the Bible
gong?
app
Where's
just came
gong?
up.
Oh. You've been hiding a gong from me.
I wanted to be a pastor like immediately. I think that's what everybody does when they get in the faith. They're like, I want to be that guy. And she was like, absolutely not. Well, you can't.
She can for the women's.
For the women's.
And the children's. For the children's.
You can just for women.
And the chitlin.
We're about to get attacked on that one. I almost get my face ripped off every time I bring that little gem up.
Yeah, but women can teach women, but we are not supposed to be preachers.
Yeah.
She said it. I didn't say it. Methodist ladies, please stop yelling at me.
No. I mean, that was what we talked about on Sunday. Didn't he bring that up on this Sunday?
Yeah, he did. The women's role in a church
there?
to be silent.
He did, huh?
Yeah. Because I was giving her a hard time. She was talking to the ladies in the coffee room there, and I was like, you gotta keep your mouth shut. You're in this building. Keep your mouth shut.
You told me to be quiet.
Yeah.
Then you called me out on the first thing.
Yeah, you're the only one
you
that
know the
can,
verse, like, I'm just
I have to. I usually call somebody out. Kaylee was like, I think we just need to get rid of the verse thing. And I'm like, because Eric, before his stroke, he was still the only one doing it.
Oh.
And then a couple people every now and then, like we stopped doing a different verse every week and doing one a month. And Kaylee's like, I think we just need to stop doing that. I'm like, okay, apparently, or whatever. Whatever, Antichrist. No, I love her.
You better apologize for that.
She knows.
I don't think she watches this.
No.
That's so support.
She does, but she knows how when I'm editing, like he knows one of my biggest things that I'm getting through is listening to my own voice. That's why I would love to hire a producer and an editor.
Oh, I know. When you were playing that back, I'm like, I sound like...
I know. I do the same thing, but I have to listen to the whole... I try to listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so she knows that, so she won't... Like, I think like she'll be watching it tonight. Like, she won't watch it when I'm at home.
Watch while you edit it.
Well, she'll watch it when I'm not around.
Oh.
So, like, when we're here recording this one, she's watching.
Give us a thumbs up, Kaylee.
She doesn't know how.
It's a
button.
She likes... You know who else doesn't know how? Melanie. You know who else?
Melanie, I'm here till Saturday, and I'm here to help everybody with their electronical needs.
There you go. You heard it here first.
You like it on YouTube most of the time. You would like it on Facebook. You would comment.
That's how you know I haven't been watching.
Well, I know. And then you send us that screenshot that time of you watching it on your TV at home.
No, that's cool.
Oh, yeah, because I casted it.
Yeah,
Because I couldn't hear it good enough, so I have to turn my TV up.
That was before we had this.
Right, but I still have to turn it up louder.
You know, every day is a work in progress. Like,
Right.
I'm getting better
Better?
at editing.
Bedditing?
Yeah, I don't use the editing
editing,
stuff that a lot of the real podcasters do. Like, I'm still using the really user-friendly one that I first found.
I remember when you didn't even have ear muffins.
And we only had a little microphone like this.
I've had these ear muffins.
And me and Kevin were talking really
Forever.
loud. That's the first pair right there, yeah.
The OG.
And we started doing it
It's
upstairs.
the shortest cable ever.
Yeah.
I pulled that off earlier. Sorry.
We started doing it upstairs. Then we started doing it in the children's church because we were doing it on Tuesdays.
After.
We
Were you
doing it on
sitting in
Tuesday.
tiny chairs?
No,
Did
they
we?
had
No,
because we used to do men's Bible study back
Oh.
then.
Once in there, we're like, yeah, they were not doing
We did it
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 times.
Too many little kid things.
And then we did it right
Down
down here. And then we just kind of took over Barry's room up here.
Yeah.
And then we bought all this PVC pipe for a paint screen. And I just brought it here, and Kevin was like, because we used to take all of this down every Wednesday night and then set it up. And Kevin was like, let's just stop doing that. And I'm like, because Cheryl's going to get mad. Why? And so I kept it up. And
Is that your impression of me?
Yeah, it is. Why? Let's just stop doing this, man. Yeah, that's usually how I do, actually. Yeah.
You're some kind of ape person.
No, it's you. Before we used to get in a lot like
Oh, he talks like this.
you come a long ways. He used to say a lot of
Kaylee.
ridiculous stuff, and then I'd be like, "What?"
Well, I had to tell myself, like, I can't touch this stuff anymore because, like, the audio buttons.
Oh, you know how many podcasts we've sat here for an hour and a half and done, and then I went to play it back, and it didn't even record or save, and it's already late, and we're not going to do it again.
Not to mention the voice sounds.
So yeah,
You
there's
never done any of those.
I haven't done-
yeah,
he
because
cut me
that
off.
was you were the one. 'Cause just like you were saying, you guys joke around too much. That was, I think, a lot of the
culprit.
people are like, okay, I'm done hearing your robot voice for half an hour. Like,
Oh, yeah, that was annoying.
see? And I told him, I'm like, we can't. And he'd be like, wanted
I
to
mean,
do it.
sometimes it was funny. I think the little...
The baby voice.
Yeah.
the baby voice.
Yeah, we would do that every now and then. But then I think,
Or the deep voice. That was my favorite one.
and it is fun. And,
Yes.
and it's fun. But then I was like, man, I get so wrapped into the whole algorithm world and stuff like that I'm like, okay, if I was the consumer of this, what would make me scroll past it? The
Like
other thing
last
that we
10
had to
minutes,
get
probably.
because when I look at the analytics, the longest duration for most is 3 minutes, and then they're like, "Yep, no."
Next.
But I don't know. I don't believe a lot of that because Brendan watches all of it.
Actually, dude, that makes
Your
sense.
dog watches it?
my daughter's said it's her number one podcast on Spotify. So like, you know how Spotify does the end of the year
Wrap up.
Well, they're doing that now with the DJ thing, and so it's popping up. So it'll pop up as her number one.
She's like,
Like, you better
turn
post
off.
it. Yeah.
It makes sense though, that whole like algorithm thing where like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's all about the swiping today.
Yeah.
I need 30 seconds.
Funny.
And then because it's the same thing with any
So
Right.
here's the experiment.
That's right. It is.
Yeah,
It is.
the experiment that I did yesterday was TikTok, because Street Smart Christian has a TikTok, and so that's where I do a lot of my short videos, 2 or 3 minutes. Well, TikTok has got this thing like where it'll take you all the way up to 200 views and then it planes out. I'm like, why can't I get past? Then I'll pay $20 to get more views, and I'll get 3,000 views. I'm like,
You think God really wants you to pay for views?
He might have. That's why he put it on my heart, Meredith.
She's got a good point there.
It's
Anna.
not paying for the view. It's whatever. It's fine. What are they
Really
going to
like
get?
paying China?
Well, they're not getting much. They got $20.
There's about 20,000 of you out there.
If they take my data, they're going to give it back and say, "Don't ever let us have that again." There's this thing called CapCut, and it kind of takes your pictures or your videos, and it does like whatever for 30 seconds.
Science.
And it'll put like that deep AI voice on there, like Philippians 4:13, and I put it on there,
20
and
years
there's
to dig out of
500
this prison.
views in like 10 minutes because it's only 30 seconds long.
Mm-hmm.
So people have the attention span of 30 seconds.
I
But
do.
when it comes to, and there are loyal people
Squirrel.
out there that'll listen to those 3-minute Bible study things that I do and comment and like and stuff like that. But those, I'll get 60 likes because it's only 30 seconds. And people will share it and they'll do it. So now I try to incorporate our website somewhere on that
So they click it.
and links. Yeah. So they at least, because if they're sharing that little thing that's the AI voice reading Philippians 4:13 or whatever it is, then at least they're sharing it and the Street Smart logo or the Street Smart
Link.
website
Yeah.
is going to other people.
Yeah.
But it is very important that the people who do watch it comment, like, and subscribe.
Yeah.
So the people in Arizona say like, "Hey, watch these guys, but if you don't like it, you're gonna really need recovery from a hospital."
Oh, man.
I only know one person personally that watched when I shared it. I don't know how many people have watched it.
Well, I
can only
think
share.
the greatest thing about ministry is that you can't control it,
Quantify.
quantify,
create.
or create it with Christ. And all this stuff we talked about, I know we got off topic a couple times, but it's,
Right.
it starts with that recovery, really.
It does.
Where you find Christ.
Yep,
And he's the one that'll he's recover anything for you.
that's right.
So-
Took the dry bones. Every story in the Bible points to him, and we can do it.
So the whole create, quantify, and control was told to me and Kevin like 30 times. So we wanted to be really professional about this ministry, right?
Well, you don't trust it.
We didn't want it to be
I
just.
do. He doesn't.
I have the Living Word
Readers.
polo on.
Button up.
But we didn't want to just be another just Living Word youth group. That's it. We're just two guys we wanted to really create our own deal. So we had to go in front of the deacons and I printed out all this cool paperwork and all this stuff to pass out, which they just were like, like,
You're
Ron
going to
was
cut all
like-
that out of this,
Ron was
right?
like, no, we never, like, they know.
None of them watch this.
Nah,
Yeah,
it's
but I
for
wrote
sure.
my nose earlier, so
No.
that needs
So
to be
they were
fixed.
like,
Every time she's
they were like,
Yes.
just use our statement of faith and get this crap out of here. And they were like, well, yeah, we really believe in your guys' thing. We think you guys can do it, but you can't create, control, or quantify the ministry. And then again, you can't create, quantify, and then just remember, you guys need to quantify or control the ministry. So over and over again. And then me and Kevin had just given me this bracelet. I got to wear it like 2 days that said, "Let's go, Brandon." And one of the deacons came out and he's like, "I'm really proud of you guys. I think that, this thing's going to work if God wants it to work, this and that." And then we're like, yeah, we're getting like hype. And he's like, "But what are you going to tell those kids when they ask what that bracelet means?"
The bracelet.
What's that
Bracelet.
bracelet mean?
And so then
We're back in Australia.
Roy?
we had to take
Roy?
them off. We had to take them off and we didn't wear them back here because they said FJB on there. It didn't like say the whole thing. It just was the F.
Forbidden Bible jokes?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that doesn't make any. So FJB wouldn't be FBJ. Dude, I got
Whoa! Oh no!
Forbidden jokes of the Bible. That's what I meant.
I just got that.
Did we?
It took me that whole few seconds.
This is, and he wants to know why I say the things that I do.
¿Por qué why?
And he's like,
¿Por qué why?
he does it.
El
And
baño.
sometimes he knows. What was the okay. Let me grab my Bible. I want to ask you.
He lost it.
You know the book Amos in the Bible?
Amos? Yeah.
Amos.
Amos, yeah.
I know Amos.
You know Amos.
Yeah.
What did he call it?
Amos.
Yes, he did.
You did?
Yeah.
Amos?
watched it.
And he got all defensive, and he's like, "That's what it is."
Yeah.
Amos. That's okay. The first time I was reading through
No, I think
Job,
he was
I thought it was
Amos or whatever.
I mean, it's spelled the same.
It's spelled job.
Yeah, Job.
Yeah, there was no over the B.
Oh, yeah.
Or the O.
Or the O.
Is there anything else we need to go over?
No, I feel like, man, we could really unpack a lot.
I really
And we
enjoyed
could do
this.
multiple, conversations with you about that recover.
We'll have you write down.
Celebrate
recovery.
That,
We'll have-
I'm honestly very interested. I want to go
So
and look at that. Like,
when you
I think he does too.
they'll
Can't read lips.
we'll have you write down the website so we can put it on the screen
Yeah.
for everybody, and then you can we'll go on there and get the link for it, and we can put the link in the description. It'll be the first time we
The
can
link
put a
in the
link
description?
in the description.
Yeah,
Link.
that's sweet. We could do that. That's cool.
And why don't you go ahead and let them know what they can get if they make it to the end of the podcast?
If you made it this far,
Which
where's
you know,
the camera? Where's
you
the
know
camera
what?
do I look at?
So choose your words really carefully right now, because there are going to be, because she's on here. I know for a fact that there is going to be a handful of people.
So if you
Who
made it
are
this
gonna
far,
watch it.
you can get 100.
Oh,
Just kidding. You made it this far.
keep in mind, I'm laid off right now.
Please
You get a slice of
comment.
cheese.
You must comment, and you must say,
Celebrate recovery.
yeah, celebrate recovery.
And you gotta comment
and say celebrate
So
recovery.
just because Meredith came on today, I will be putting this on. I will put this episode on Facebook, so you just don't get it, because there's gonna be like, I didn't get this here. I didn't even know Meredith's on here. And YouTube, I don't know how to do. It'll be on YouTube. I'm gonna
Can
put
I
it.
say the prize yet, please? I've been waiting for 20 minutes. Come on already.
All right, tell them what they're gonna win.
You can get fresh, street smart Christian swag. What is it going to be, Meredith?
Keep in mind, Adam's laid off.
You like a
Bookmark.
bookmark? No, come on.
I don't have a bookmark
We
maker.
can do better than bookmarks.
What do you have?
What is it going to be?
You will get a Street Smart Christian logo
Toothbrush.
sticker. Toothbrush.
No, that's weak. I'll buy you a hoodie.
You know you're
Give it
not.
to
Have that kind of money?
I'll buy 6 hoodies.
Yeah.
No, if you made it this far, comment, and we will send you a mystery.
I
swag
got the
gift.
vinyl stickers.
Don't tell them what the mystery is.
Oh my god! Because there's not much of a mystery. I can make certain things.
Adam will deliver it to your door.
You have sheep, right? You win a sheep.
Okay, I'll deliver it to your door.
Do we make
If-
brandings?
No,
Street Smart
if
Christian
you
branding.
submit your application.
Don't. No.
What's that? What is that?
If you're a single lady and you're looking for love from a Christian man,
It's still the man. What about the Christian woman? If you want one of these in your future, submit your application and tag Kevin Mestis. Kevin Mestis. And you Christian men out there. Tag Meredith Mann. I was going to say, we're talking about Kevin Mestis, and you're like, and you Christian men out there. The Meredith, okay? Not me. No, I'm not legal yet. Me neither.
Yes, Kevin. I really would like an opportunity. Not you. You're a dude. Okay? This got really weird.
I sound like a weird lady.
I need to change my voice. It sounds like a scary lunch lady.
I have to have a deeper voice to sound like a proper lady.
Oh my God. Okay. It's getting out of hand.
All right, we're back to normal voices.
StreetSmartChristian.com.
And you know
like,
what?
follow,
if you're
and
gonna be
comment.
about it, though, Adam.
No, if you're going to talk about it. He already screwed that up. Every single time. If you're going to talk about it,
be about it.
yeah.
Batman.
Wait, Meredith, if you're going to talk about it, what?
What?
If you're going to talk about it.
About what?
Clearly, Meredith has never made it to an end of any of our videos, dude. If you're going to talk about it, be about it.
What are you going to do if you're going to talk about it?
Please, for the love of God, just say be about it.
Be about it.